Music at muting everyone now.
Great.
The best thing
Thank
to
you.
happen to Syracuse.
Is that my cue out?
Everyone is looking at me. I'm walking in. Everyone is looking at me. I'll have this drink, or maybe three. I'll have this drink. Everybody's drinking with me. I'll have this drink, or maybe three. I'll have this drink. Everybody's drinking with me. Shut down, leave alone with nobody else. Shut down, leave alone again. Shut down, leave alone with nobody else. Shut down, leave alone again. Come sit with me, come sit with me, come sit with me. Pretty baby, won't you sit down? Come sit with me, come sit with me, come sit with me. Pretty baby, won't you sit down? You have this drink, this one's on me, this one's for free. Everybody's drinking on me. You have this drink, this one's on me, this one's for free. Everybody's drinking on me. Shut down, leave alone with nobody else. Shut down, leave alone again. Shut down, leave alone with nobody else. Shut down, leave alone again. It's softer now, it's softer now, it's softer now. This party's closing down, let's head out. It's softer now, it's softer now, it's softer now. This party's closing down, let's head out. It's not that late, we'll find something. It's not that late. It's really not that late. It's not that late, we'll find something. It's not that late, it's only 3 a.m. Shut down, leave alone with nobody else. Shut down, leave alone again. Shut down, leave alone with nobody else. Shut down, leave alone again. Shut down, leave alone with nobody else. Shut down, leave alone lights on. Welcome into Poppin Off! I am Danny Otto. Joining with me, did I get her to... Did you jump?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Joining with me, as always, is hashtag Cori.
No.
50 Shades of Greg.
Hey.
Good morning.
Morning.
Wait, pause.
Hello.
Good morning?
Morning.
Good morning?
Morning.
Good morning. And joining with us, as always, 50 Shades of Greg.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
And all the way in LA, it's our Mr. Pete.
Good evening.
There it is. There it is, buddy.
And good night. Are we doing the whole Von Trapp family?
You got it. You got it already, man. You got it. He's got it.
All right, so we have so much to get to tonight in very little time before big things happen. So we have a guest tonight.
Yep.
Who will be joining us next segment.
Yes.
Very cool guest. Involves Greg because Greg went out on a field trip and did some stuff.
Yeah.
Before that, though, there's so many things that happened that we want to talk about. So first thing I want to talk about is promoting us. If you guys could, we have a lower third. There we go. All right, so we officially have our own named YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We got enough. Thanks. Shout out to MMA Junkie Radio and Goes and all of them for helping, but also shout out to the population. You guys helped us out too.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Goes. We had almost 40 without
Goes
his help.
Correct.
Goes, I love you.
But anyway,
Yeah.
So here's the thing. We are streaming live both on our channel and on FNTSY. Here's why we're doing that. Because we know some of you guys know about our channel's name and know that we're streaming live this week. And some of you guys don't. So if you guys are watching us on FNTSY or if you're watching us on our channel, if you guys could do us a huge favor. This is going to help us out. Eventually, we're going to move to just one channel.
Yeah.
And because we're on FNTSY, I don't want to say which channel we're just going to move to, but I think you guys know, winky face,
They get it.
what we're going to end up moving to eventually on our own. But can you guys open both browsers and just have both of them playing?
Yeah.
Here's why I ask. Because there's going to be conversations going in both chats, and I want to make sure everybody's in on both. Because I don't want to say, like, Martin, I know for sure, hashtag #1fan Martin is on Poppin Off show.
Yes.
He's on the YouTube page. He's in the chat right there. And I know Strong Style and Johnny Rico and Billy McDonald, a couple other people, and Greg are on the FNTSY one going live.
Yes.
So if you guys can open both windows and just be there for both. Because, like I said, eventually we're going to go back down to streaming on live on one. We won't tell you which one that is. But if you guys can do that, it would be a huge help to us. It'll keep...
Keep saying I won't tell you which one that is.
I don't want to make it that obvious. Hi.
I know.
Anyway. The other thing I wanted to get to before we run out of time in the first segment.
Yeah.
Because I am so excited about this.
What is it?
The first teaser trailer of Spider-Man.
You sent me this.
I know. Far From Home.
You sent me this.
I made her watch it. I sent it to you.
Yeah.
I actually sent it to the entire group. I hope Pete watched it. I don't know if he did. I didn't check in.
Dope.
But it was great.
Dope.
It dropped today. I was super excited.
Dope.
It takes place after Endgame.
Yeah.
It didn't really give us any hints to what happens in Endgame. We just know that characters that were involved in the snap are now alive. That's all we really know.
Right.
But we don't know how it happened. We don't know if it's an alternate universe. We don't.
But we kind of know.
We don't really know.
We don't really know, but we kind of know.
But what did you think of the trailer, really quick?
Just my good friend Tom Holland.
Oh, God. You watch umpteen football games with one dude, and all of a sudden
we
you're
watched
friends.
we watched UFC.
Oh,
fight.
UFC fight. That's right.
It was a UFC fight, and I saw him every day for 2 weeks. I got a hug. We're friends, Tom Holland.
Okay. Well.
I just like the fact that both me and him felt the need to stand up when they zoomed in on Chris Pratt, and we both shouted Star-Lord. That was probably my favorite part of the entire night. But, Pete, did you get a chance to check out the Spider-Man trailer?
Yeah. He goes to London.
Thoughts?
No, honestly, can we say spoilers at this point?
It's not a spoiler.
Yeah,
it's
go
a
ahead.
public
Go ahead.
trailer.
Okay,
Go
good.
ahead.
Okay, I just think Jake Gyllenhaal just looks so badass, and so I'm so stoked. I'm really stoked to see Jake Gyllenhaal as like a bad guy.
He's gonna be a bad guy.
Bad guy.
He's gonna be a bad guy. It's Mysterio.
Bad guy.
Yeah, he's Mysterio.
Just because,
That
yeah,
is
but
not
just
a
because he's
giveaway.
Bad guy.
Oh, okay.
just because he's bad guy doesn't mean he's
bad guy. Yeah, Wreck-It Ralph. I got it.
There we go. Thank you. Hashtag movie reference.
All right, guys. We're out of time for the first segment.
It's the Sinister Six. That's what's happening.
It's possible. It's possible.
That's what's happening.
It's possible.
Go to
All right,
break.
guys. Like I said, we have an awesome guest coming up after this. Stay tuned. More Poppin' Off next.
Oh, Strong Style just said it.
What do you say?
It's Sinister Six. Strong Style.
Stay tuned. More Poppin' Off after this.
There's too much distance separating you and I.
What's the most important thing you can do today? How about swab to save a life? Every 3 minutes in the United States, a person is diagnosed with a blood cancer like leukemia. Bone marrow transplants give patients a new lease on life, but 70% of them must rely on a stranger for one. You can help. Register with DKMS to become a donor. You'll receive a swab kit in the mail, swab your cheeks, send the samples back, and you're good to go. Take the first step. Become a hero. Register today at dkms.org.
The morning after.
How about them Brooklyn Nets? It's for real right now.
Brooklyn's playing good ball.
Yeah, they are.
And it looked like
They won 6 games in a row, Michelle.
I thought they won 7 in a row. 6, my bad. It looks like they are becoming not a contender, but they're a team that could be on the upswing faster than one thought.
D'Angelo Russell killed it, and they
Just keep him over. Just don't let him record anything you say or do. Other than that, he's a good ball player.
I'm getting over that right now.
Weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern on FNTSY Radio and on your popular podcast providers.
Welcome back into Poppin' Off. And Greg just walked right in front of the camera.
Greg is too tall to duck behind anything.
He didn't even
I did it.
try to duck.
I turned the AC off. I did it. I did it.
He didn't even try to duck. He
I
was just like,
did it.
Good enough.
Yeah. I half-assed it.
Welcome back into Poppin' Off. I am Danny Otto. Joining with me as always, hashtag Cori Bear.
Hello.
50 Shades Greg.
Hey, I turned the AC off. Yeah, I did it.
All the way in LA is our best friend Pete.
That's me. I'm so happy about this beanie gang that we got going on here.
Thanks, buddy. Danny bought this for me.
I did.
Yeah.
I know that. I'm feeling it.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, me too.
Aw. All I can hear is like Gucci gang, just beanie gang.
There it is.
Right?
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Thank you. She knows my style.
And joining with us for the first time is Stephanie Sands.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Stephanie.
From Jamron
Hello.
Counseling.
Yes, from Jamron Counseling.
I'm surprised I got all of that out in one sentence without messing up. You're worried about messing
for
up.
you.
I'm worried about messing up too.
Okay. I'm not alone here. Cool, but I'm not the host of the show, so that's...
Yeah, I know, but we're on episode 81. I'm like, I mess up every episode.
Yeah, we
so-
mess up all the
Yeah.
time. It's fine.
Well, great. So then I can too.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
So how's it going?
Good. Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, glad you are.
Good.
So I guess let's just ask the initial question. What is Jamron Counseling?
So Jamron Counseling is a private practice that does psychotherapy as well as neurofeedback.
Okay.
So we have a few offices throughout Brooklyn and on Long Island. We have an office in Bushwick, in Greenpoint, and in Williamsburg. And then the office on Long Island is in Mineola. Sorry, we just opened that one, so
That's all right.
Come to me right away.
Yeah. So what did you do to me?
Well, I don't know.
What have you done?
Actually, before we get to that,
Okay. Okay.
I believe we have a clip of your boss.
Perhaps, yeah, that makes sense.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Yeah, perhaps we do.
I think you were there
Mayhap.
that day. I hope you know.
She knows.
All
All
right,
very
guys.
fuzzy to me.
Can we roll that clip?
Hi, my name is Colin Jamron. I'm the founder and president of Jamron Counseling. We're a psychotherapy practice based in Brooklyn, New York. We work with people dealing with issues like depression, anxiety, interpersonal issues. The reason we looked into brain mapping and neurofeedback was to help create an alternative to standard psychotherapy. We can actually get a real-time reading of brain waves. That information helps us identify problem areas and how to address them.
Not anymore.
My favorite part of that entire clip, Cori goes, I think we're muted.
But I hope we're muted.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you said I think we're muted.
Because we were talking like crazy.
Yes, we were. We've already seen the clip, so we know
we have.
what was happening and what he was explaining and everything like that. But basically, it was essentially the same thing that you were just explaining on how what you did to Greg, and it looked like you were jamming stuff into his head, so...
I mean, that's not.
That's
so
why it's
far
called
off.
Jamron.
Good one.
That's it. Yeah, good one. Good one. Oh, sorry.
I'm surprised we
Inside
didn't have
joke.
that sound
Yeah,
effect.
I thought John
ready.
or Sean would have done that by
I know.
now.
Yeah,
but
he's slacking a little bit.
I don't know.
Sorry, Sean.
Anyways,
So
he's a great guy, by the way.
Sean, great guy.
No, Sean is, but also Colin.
Oh, Colin. Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
no,
he
no,
is.
I mean, it's seriously, like we had a great time. We already kind of knew you, but we didn't know what to expect with him. He's a great dude.
Yeah.
So nice, so down to earth. Like just, he's joking around and serious. Like great dude.
Right. Yeah. No, that's well, at least for me, that's one of the great things about working with him is that he's just, like you said, he's a great guy. And I absolutely admire and respect the business that he's built. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, tell me what you guys did to me.
Well, first off, before you say that, what is your position at the company? Because I know we heard a little bit about your boss and the company itself, but what do you do at Jamron?
Sure. So I am a psychotherapist, and I'm also the neurofeedback clinician. So I do the neurofeedback training and the brain map that I had did on Greg.
Yeah, I did nothing.
Well, you sat there.
I sat there.
You did some good sitting.
Yeah.
I saw the video.
Like when you
A
went to
plus
school,
sitting,
buddy.
Greg. A plus sitting.
when you went to school, is this where you thought that you would end up doing things like this? Because I mean, it's interesting, right? Like when you go to school and you think about like therapy and stuff like that, I look at traditional talk therapy. Did you think that you would be, putting hats on people?
Kind of. I had it. Okay, so I was really in.
I love it.
Oh, I started college. I started at a community college. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I didn't really have any idea. Well, I thought I wanted to do psychology or something science related. Neuroscience was just really gaining more exposure in the science field.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was a lab rat for a summer over the summer. And I was doing some neuroscience research. And that's when I realized okay, I want to still be in the neuroscience field, but I want to be on the clinical side. I want to take the research and actually bring it to life with people. So
yeah,
and that was pretty early on. I guess that was like my last year of community college. So I was lucky and fortunate to know it.
So what do you find out about people now?
Oh, a lot of things.
Yeah.
Are we going to learn some secrets? Some Greg secrets?
Some Greg secrets, sure. Yeah.
Excited.
Well, we have another clip actually.
Oh.
Of I guess more of what you're doing to Greg.
Yeah.
Not just your boss talking, but like the stabbing thing that I was talking about.
Yeah.
The gel on his head.
Not stabbing. She's just adding gel to the.
Well, when I see a syringe and it's being shoved into a hole and something's being pressed in, I just assume it's being stabbed in this.
Yeah. It went in my brain.
Yeah. He's got gel inside his brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
try to deny it.
I don't know if that's scientific.
Can we roll that
Stephanie,
clip?
wait, but
I mean,
Stephanie's like, no.
I
That's
My name is Stephanie Sands. I'm a psychotherapist at Jamron Counseling. We're here today at our Greenpoint location. Today we're going to be doing a brain map. A brain map is an EEG biofeedback modality, also known as neurofeedback. And basically what this entails is putting a brain cap on Greg's head. This brain cap will have a bunch of electrodes to read Greg's brain waves in real time. I'm going to use this information to see what is going on in Greg's brain.
Boom.
See? You stabbed gel into Greg's brain.
Not direct. Okay, so it's a blunt syringe, right? The needle is blunt, so I'm not really stabbing him.
Are you saying that he has a soft brain and you can get it right through without something that was sharp?
Good one.
I'm not saying anything there.
There it is. But yeah, no stabbing. No stabbing.
So what did this test? You don't have to give us the results. We'll talk about the results next, like after the break and stuff like that. But what was this test like looking for? Like what were you doing the test for? I guess.
So, well, basically, what a brain map is what it's doing is it's measuring the electricity that's coming from the scalp. And the electricity that comes from the scalp is being generated by billions of neurons firing. Right. So there's a lot of neuroscience research, specifically in the fMRI realm, that matches brain frequencies with certain cognitive and emotional behavioral functions. And so when I was doing the brain map on Greg, what we were looking for, certain brain waves in certain, they're kind of clustered into Komodo bands. I'm looking for abnormal.
Yes, it's okay.
I'm
abnormal. And I'm very abnormal. I get it. Yeah.
Well, okay, so abnormalities or, certain dysfunctions depending on the quality of the brain waves that are being produced in specific areas on the scalp.
Okay.
Do you ever find anything that's like just completely shocking to the person?
Great
getting the brain
question.
map?
I mean,
Great question.
I get it.
And no, I would no. I mean, but there's a lot of reasons for that. What I use, it's for clinicians. It's not for researchers. When I say what I use, I'm talking about the amplifier. So it's filtering out a lot of different brain waves. And it's really just isolating the ones that I'm interested in. If the amplifier were able to give me the whole picture, well, one, I'd be overwhelmed. I wouldn't know which way is up anyway, because it's just, I really wouldn't. It's a lot of information.
Your brain is overwhelming, Greg.
Yes.
Well, I mean, no.
Anyone's.
I mean, it was
Anyone.
interpreting Greg's brain map was fun.
I know. I'm really excited.
I'm excited to see the results. We only have a couple
excited to
minutes
find
left.
things about Greg that I can use against him.
Exactly.
I think they're
he's
pretty
afraid of
obvious.
spiders and success.
And success.
And
So
success.
business attire spiders he's
Yeah.
terrified of. But so we only have a couple minutes left, but I just want to ask, so what could we use, not just Greg's results, but results in general? Like what can that be used for?
So again, the brain map will show areas of dysregulation based off of the quality of the brain waves that are being produced. And so typically if someone's producing certain brain waves in certain areas, it can be indicative of certain cognitive and emotional dysfunctions. And so I take that information and match it up with some of the symptoms that were reported by the person. So I take the EEG results and their symptoms and I collapse them together. And the really nice thing about it just like
I reported the crap out of those symptoms, by the way. And also, yes, Sean is in your ear, and if you're not used to that,
like,
sorry. You don't
who is that? Yeah.
I've got voices.
I feel like I should get a brain map.
You're gonna need one.
She recommends everyone get a brain map.
Yes.
No,
If
I mean
Sean's voice is in your head,
Get a brain
get a
map.
brain.
Yeah.
Oh, see, now I forgot what I was. What were you asking me? I can't remember now.
How about this? We're gonna pause. We're gonna go to break.
Okay.
Then we'll come back.
Sounds good.
We'll talk about it over the commercial break. Okay. And then we'll come back, reloaded, refreshed,
Jump right
and we're
in.
gonna talk about Greg's results and everything like that.
Okay.
So
I'm crazy. It's fine.
Well, we're all crazy.
Yeah.
We're all dysfunctional.
I know.
Let that be a lesson to everybody.
Oh, Pete.
Pete's gonna talk more
Pete's just
after
saying
the
he's
break.
crazy too.
Ask questions.
Hashtag shut up, Pete. All right, guys, coming back after this. More popping off. Stay tuned.
In the history of NASCAR, there has been no shortage of great father-son duos. Bobby and Davey Allison, Bill and Chase Elliott, and of course, Dale and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Now you get to listen to the best father-son duo in fantasy NASCAR with Scott and Sean Engel. Listen to the King and the Prince as they preview every race and give you the fantasy driver lineups to win in all regular and daily fantasy formats. Listen to the Father and Son Fantasy NASCAR Hour every week by downloading the podcast through iTunes and the FNTSY Sports Network Audio Boom channel.
It's Poppin' Off.
How much? I will pay you, Danny, $100 to let Jens punch you in the face.
You just said how much, and then you said $100. I would do it for $500, not to the face, to the leg. I'll let Jens kick me in any part of the.
You're gonna lose that damn leg.
For the liver.
Oh, I don't want to pee blood.
It's got to be a liver shot. We'll put a glove on, and it'll be.
I'm gonna pee blood. That's not worth $500.
That's it.
Watch live on the FNTSY YouTube stream.
God, that's how you do things.
Yeah, that's it.
Welcome back into Poppin' Off. I am Danny Otto. Joining with me as always is hashtag Cori Bear.
Hello.
Hashtag 50 Shades Greg.
What is up?
Joining with us all the way from LA. It's hashtag Silent Pete. Holding the world in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hand.
There it is.
He's got the whole wide world in his hand. And joining with us tonight. What? Sorry.
I
I didn't know what you were
I
saying.
side with Thanos every time.
No.
I survived the snap, so I don't know if you side with Thanos. He chose poorly. I'm still here after the snap.
Oh.
And joining with us tonight, we have Stephanie Sands.
Yes.
We interrupted
Hello.
her.
We didn't talk over the break about what you were talking about. So
Yeah, we also didn't do
starting
that.
fresh because we don't remember what you were talking about. But
We were asking about you.
yeah, you as a professional.
Well, there was a specific question that you had asked that I was like,
It's okay.
Trying
It
to
happens
answer
all
I
the
don't
time.
remember what I asked.
neither do I.
I don't either.
Does that mean I have to get a brain scan?
Well, you should. I
don't remember
strongly
things.
suggest.
I fell out of the top bunk and I haven't remembered anything since.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that would be interesting.
Yeah. I think
I
everyone.
haven't had a
with that.
dream since then either.
Oh, I'm sure you just okay. I don't want to go into that.
Yeah. Just make smaller, shorter term dreams, Danny.
All right, so I do want to get into Greg's results, but before that, we were severely neglecting Pete. So I wanted to go to him really quick. Pete, do you have any questions before we get into Greg's results?
I mean, I have a couple questions. Can I gear a question towards you first then?
Towards me?
No, not you.
Stephanie.
You said
Of course.
you.
Ask
I was
Stephanie.
the last
Not
person that
you.
talked.
Yeah.
Apparently I was one of his
Talking about the
good
guest,
friends,
Danny.
but apparently I'm not. You and Stephanie
Okay.
can just be friends now. I see how it is. You guys can start your own
Back to
TV
the
show.
question. So Stephanie, obviously we have you doing some techie stuff here, but your bio and stuff. What are the mindfulness exercises that you do?
Okay, so well, I think mindfulness it's kind of become a fad. I'll just be honest here. So the type of mindfulness exercises I do is actually
Bring it. Do it.
We don't have to understand it. You can
okay.
say it.
Well, it's more okay. So it's more of like pagan.
Okay.
In essence, I would say it's
Love it.
A lot of the mindfulness that I do is kind of where I take like candles and I use herbs for different incenses or with different incenses and different oils, and it's really just about being in the moment and being mindful to what you're doing, and at least that's what works for me. I work typically with the clients in figuring out what kind of ritual works for them. And sometimes it's just as simple as walking, being mindful of walking, paying attention to each step you take, how, the weight of your legs, the weight of your feet, opening up your senses, paying attention to what you hear, the temperature, what you feel. If the wind is, as cold as it's been here and and as harsh as the wind has been, paying attention to how it feels on your skin. So that's a mindfulness practice that anybody can really incorporate. But for me specifically, I kind of do the whole,
Yeah.
you know,
pageantry.
Yeah.
Would you say, Pete?
So do you recommend saging?
Yes, because it's what it comes down to is your intent. So if you're saying saging
Well, he didn't get to finish this question for getting rid of ghosts.
No.
Really? All right.
My joke. No, it's not a joke. Like I literally just saged.
You just
my
said
place.
my joke.
Oh, he just saged his place.
I just saged my place. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Like,
And I've
is
done
this
mine
something that
before.
you-
Okay.
I have.
So why did you stage your? I mean, yeah, sure, that's great, but why? I mean, I'm just wondering why you decided to do it.
Yeah.
No, I had spoken to someone. I had spoken to someone that recommended me staging my space so that I was more clear with with work and stress. It was for therapy. Honestly, it was for therapy.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, again, it's about the intention, right? And it's about what you attribute to what you're doing. So if it's common for people to use sage because what's attributed to sage is cleansing. And so if that's what you have in your mind and that's what you're rehearsing while you're doing something mindfully, like saging your apartment, then that kind of, that's another way of reprogramming your brain and reprogramming or controlling your mood. So... And so it's like, it's mindfulness.
So is it more important what it is that you're using for that? Or is it more of like what you can program for that?
Exactly.
So like, you can use a scented candle instead of sage and it would be, as long as it's helping you.
Right.
That's what I'm gathering at least.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that's what I was gathering.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Cool. I think so.
Yeah.
Right, let's get to Greg's brain.
Yeah,
results.
I'm really
I'm
interested
excited.
Can't wait.
I have a feeling I'm not going to understand what they mean, but you're here for that.
Yeah.
I will try my very best.
Yeah.
Just think of me as a third grader and explain it that way.
Okay. Well, they don't really teach
Yeah.
third graders,
Right.
but it's, okay.
Fifth grade? I can go as high as like ninth, and then I top out.
I've taught grad students. Can
Okay,
we
that's
kind of bump
way
it up a little
it's
bit?
way above.
Okay. No. Okay.
I
I'll try
went
my
through
best.
college, but I was a communications major. So, no offense to any communications major in the population or
no.
anything like that. But yeah, I just talked and did a bunch of speeches for grades.
And landed you here.
All right. So
And now I'm here covered in tattoos with blue
Greg's
hair.
brain
so.
results.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes. Moving on.
Greg's brain results. Okay. So I hope you don't mind. I have to get to my notes because there was quite a bit of information.
yeah.
While
right?
you're looking at your notes, I think
Yeah.
do we have a PDF of like some of his results? Oh, okay. Well, we'll keep talking then.
Okay. So while they're pulling up the PDF,
Yes.
so that PDF is actually the client's view, right? So it's very, very, it's a very abbreviated report.
Okay.
So what I have in addition to that is a clinical report, which is much thicker.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, I mean, there's a lot to look at. So, but the PDF
Thanks.
that's being, well, I mean, there wasn't something, okay. So there were some interesting things that I
You
saw
got
on
an
your
interesting
brain.
brain.
Well, I mean, I think some of the things that came up, I think you guys already had your suspicions, right? Which is the working memory in general. So we're talking,
Yep.
we're talking issues with working memory, attention, filtering information. Let's see here, problem solving. Issues with problem solving came up.
Yep.
That's
That's obvious.
That's why he just shouts, "I'm on fire" all the time.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so then, I mean, is that true?
No, I do have an issue with problem solving.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
No, but I'm,
Is that like in a professional or personal sense? Like when you have to like on the fly or something that you don't, like something you don't normally deal with, or just like a continuous, I can't solve the same problem over and over again?
Good question.
So I think in order to answer that question, I would have to look at other areas of the brain map.
Oh, let's go as deep as possible. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Greg's like starting to twist a little bit more.
Oh, anyways, I mean, I'm good with this.
Okay.
So while you're explaining this, we are going to we have the first page of Greg's result map.
Okay.
Yes. So put that up. We keep talking about your analysis
okay.
because we're kind of looking at the same thing right now.
Yeah, we are. So in this brain map, you can see the areas that are in red, right? And you have the legend there that it's abnormal.
Mm-hmm.
So where it says FP1 actually is indicative of depression.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we're looking at the other areas, the F7, F3, and even if in F4, we're showing memory issues.
Mm-hmm.
So this actually, again, is a very abbreviated version of the clinical view. The clinical view shows a lot more, and I can go into more of that in a second. But then when we're looking at this this view, right, it's down now. So never mind. We'll just go right to the clinical view. No, so there were certain meters that were on that view, and it's showing, for example, that your focus and your relaxation is good. However, the clinical view shows that they were not as good. And the reason being is because before Greg came in to do the brain map, I had him fill out some checklists, symptom checklists. So what you reported was matched up with the EEG, and that's what the meters are showing. So it's skewed because of your own self-report, not because of the EEG. So that highlights the importance of being honest.
This is great.
But
so wait, so what was I not?
No.
So what you're saying is he's a liar.
No, not necessarily. I mean, okay. So the importance of reporting honestly, but also it just shows the perception of oneself, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
that's very true.
I want to know. So what was I off on?
Nah.
Everything.
This is amazing.
Oh, this is amazing.
This is amazing.
I want to go. Can I tell
This
us?
is amazing.
No,
Everybody can come. Come on.
I need to find out
110%. I want all of us to
visions
go.
of myself.
we all need to go. I think this.
I mean,
would be
that thing is
awesome.
so thorough. Like, we don't have time for that. Like, now I need to hear all of that. This is fascinating.
We're
Sorry,
just
keep
gonna
going.
sit here after
Keep
the
going.
show
Yeah.
and go through
Like-
Greg's brain.
Fascinating.
Right, item by item.
I love it.
You're bad at math.
I love it. I am
Yes.
bad at math. Yes,
Wait,
she says
no,
he is.
He is. He's. I mean, you're not the great. I mean, you're not.
I'm not the greatest at anything.
say
It's okay.
that.
You,
Sorry.
it does.
It's okay. You can say he's bad at.
You can
Well,
say
yeah,
it.
you're not that great at math,
No.
according to.
I'm not.
Yeah. So that is true.
Okay. What else?
Okay, so more into the clinical view, which is my other part, right? We're showing actually, so there's certain areas that I look at with these brainwaves, right? So I'm not going to get too technical there, but I'm looking at a lot of information, and I'm collapsing it with the things that you reported in that symptom checklist. Sure. So what I actually see is a lot of depression and anxiety.
Yep.
Great.
Oh.
That's
So-
all of us.
Yeah, that
I feel
No,
like.
I mean, okay.
This was not, and I'm on an enormous amount of medication. This is not a surprise to me.
Oh, knowing that would have helped.
Damn it, Greg!
I'm on like 200 milligrams of Zoloft a day.
Damn it, Greg!
Isn't there a spot like when you go to the doctor or something?
Yeah, they're
ruined your
there
results.
should, but so to be
We're
fair
gonna do
though,
it
we
all over
didn't do a full intake session with a typical patient. I would have sat that person down and had a conversation with them and had them fill out all the forms.
Right.
So Greg didn't do that.
No.
But now
I'm
that you're giving me
super
this
depressed
information, it makes
and
sense.
anxious.
So
No, I'm just-
I mean, no, because if you're seriously on an SSRI, then that makes sense with what I'm seeing here, which kind of changes things, but not really. It's
Right.
still the way you're filtering information coming in. It kind of like you either go straight to anxiety or straight to depression.
Yep.
Sounds about right.
That's
This is-
it.
That's the Greg we all know and
That
love.
needs to be cut out and put into like the video scrapbook of my life. Thank you, Stephanie. It does really make things clear. I'm not kidding.
We gotta
That's
go.
awesome.
We gotta go to another break.
That's awesome.
We're almost out of time. I'm not gonna kick you out. Definitely
Okay.
stay. We'll wrap things up after the break. We actually have some video game stuff to talk about after that. If you want to stick around, you can stick around and talk video games.
I'm totally rusty on the video game scene. I can't. I mean, honestly, the last thing I played was Kingdom Hearts.
Oh,
that's a long time ago.
That's a great thing to talk about.
There's a new Kingdom Hearts game coming out.
Yeah, but that's been what for the past 6-7 years.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out.
They keep saying that for 6-7 years.
And it's
or so.
coming out this year.
Oh, she's got.
That's what they said 2 years ago.
All right, guys, coming back after this. More Poppin' Off.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, I'm getting. I'm
Stephanie's coming back
I'm
with
done
us,
reading.
and she's going to talk video games because she's super knowledgeable about them. Stay tuned. More Poppin' Off after this.
Game time decisions.
Oh, well, guys, just listening here, you two old men complain about knobs.
We're like the guys in the Muppets, George Waldorf and Stadler.
God, I hated that show. But in the house, we only had one TV for my brother and I. Hated the Muppet Show.
You were missing Fantasy Island.
Tattoo, the plane, the plane.
That was great TV. I used to watch Love Boat, Charlie's Angels, Remington Steele. Oh, $6 Million Man, strong. They don't make it like today.
Weekdays, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Only on the Fantasy Sports Radio Network. It's Poppin' Off.
Gregory's deepest, darkest fear.
Oh, the nudie.
Make it easy. I wanna make sure I can pull this off.
The real answer is spiders, but
Done.
my father's answer would be success.
Shots fired!
All right, I'm gonna get some successful spiders in this studio.
No, he's so right.
He's such a loving dick.
Watch live on the FNTSY YouTube stream.
Love it. Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick!
Yeah, you've been in for 10 seconds.
Welcome back into Poppin' Off. I am Danny Otto. Joining with me as always is too important to pay attention to Pickle Rick.
This is my Miss Universe with.
Hashtag
It's
50
good.
Shades of Greg.
I'm crazy depressed and anxious.
All the way in LA. It's the best friend Pete.
We're going to cut right back to me after this because I got more questions for Stephanie.
Awesome.
And joining with us in studio is our guest, Stephanie from...
Stephanie
Where are you
Sams.
from? Jamron Counseling.
Jamron Counseling. That's kind of I feel like
I
we'll-
shot at you really quick. I'm sorry. But thank you so much for staying.
Yeah,
We do have some more
absolutely.
questions. We want to hear some more results. Pete obviously is chomping at the bit. He wants to ask a question.
Dying to ask
So
questions.
we'll let him ask another question, then we'll get back in some
Yeah.
of Greg's results.
Okay.
There we
Sure.
go.
Yeah.
Pete, what's your question?
No, because I'm fascinated by this. So obviously, I'm assuming kind of like some of the maps you can guess. This is hinting towards depression, etc. But when it comes to I just have a question. When it comes to a brain of someone that is schizophrenic, is that harder to pinpoint? Because
Good question.
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. Usually, you can kind of suspect depending on the results. Yes, you can see that. However, the software that I use to help me interpret the maps typically will flag that. It'll check. Well, I mean, it flagged you, Greg, but it does say check physiology, so that you can use that information to look more into other areas, especially outside of the EEG realm. But yeah, you could conceivably see that in a brain map. You're not there in your brain map, Greg, thank goodness. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I could see that if there were if the results showed really high frequency brain waves.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Okay.
it's important too. The person would have to be experiencing an active seizure though, because it's being recorded in real time. So
you would need what you're saying is you would need a prompt or a trigger type of thing
Yeah.
to get that kind of reading.
That sounds very unethical.
I know.
But you're right.
Yeah,
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I'm on fire. I'm on fire.
So, could you tell if someone was predisposition to, say, serial killing?
No.
Oh, really?
No, I know.
Huh.
I
That's
mean,
interesting.
Okay, so again, relating, this is meant to the information from the brain map is I use that to relate to certain symptoms, right? So and certain personality traits, I guess. So it's kind of like using math to solve a much larger problem that there's more context to.
We already know that Greg's really bad at math.
Yeah. So I mean,
we all knew that.
I'm not the greatest myself, so I feel you
us are.
there.
You
But
I was a math major.
Okay, excluding Cori.
Cori's good at math.
We're not good at math.
You just throw all the problems to her.
We do. That's actually how
Most
this
of the
whole
time.
thing works.
Yeah, if we can't
There's
fix
Pete.
something, we just.
Pete, what do you?
Yeah, what do you want? Get the flamingo off your shirt. What do you want?
Yeah, good, awesome. Follow-up question to that, because I want to make it game related. Now, would VR take brain mapping and stuff to a whole nother level?
It's actually interesting that you asked that, because that is something that I've been talking about or getting more introduced into, because there's a lot of potential in that area. I say yes. Yeah. There's actually a lot of things that you could do with this kind of equipment in terms of VR and gaming and just having an overall creative experience. Absolutely.
Well, chalk me up if you ever need a lab rat.
Yeah. So before we get to, because I'm guessing they're going to start counting us down soon, are there any other results that made you feel like I should report this?
You should report. Should I
Not to the authorities.
I'm wait, we're
not
talking
to the
about report
authorities
here.
per se.
Take him away.
Well, okay, so
that I should tell you. Oh man.
Yeah, don't tell him. You can tell us. It's okay. He can't hear us if you whisper.
So I'll pair it back to a normal question. If there was anything,
Anything that
other
Greg
reports.
needs to know that he possibly may not know about
Yeah.
himself already.
Yeah.
There was a moment when I was interpreting your brain map that I felt like I should just tell him candidly, but
you can share it here. It's just us.
But
the population's close enough.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Family.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, the thing is that I don't recall specifically what it was. I have to kind of look at it, because the way I interpreted your brain map too was with the understanding that I wasn't going to do a full-on interpretation.
Right.
But with the decline, I absolutely would. I would tell them, because this is just an example, but trauma. I can see trauma. Okay. And if someone hasn't reported it, but it comes up in their EEG, then, I will mention it. I'll ask about it. Of course, I don't press, but, I just say this is indicative of, some trauma. You don't, if you're not comfortable with sharing with me, it's absolutely fine. But I just want to let you know this is what it's showing.
What kind of trauma?
So a lot of times it's psychological trauma, but when it does, again with the software, when it can flag certain brainwave activities to check physiology, and so there could be actual damage to the brain that it'll pick up, and that is in the medical realm. So
what I'm asking, and this is a real question. I know this is everybody's gonna think that I'm kidding.
As opposed to the other question.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
No, really. I'm just wondering if there was any just kind of evidence of damage to my brain.
Yeah.
When your brother shoved you into the refrigerator.
I've had an enormous amount of accidents. I've hit my head so many times.
I'm so relieved that you said that, because it
so
does.
many times.
No, I mean, I'm relieved that you said that, because Okay. Again, you were flagged for check physiology, and
that's what I'm saying.
Also talking
Have
about
you seen
trauma.
the scars on my head? I look like a Bond villain.
Well,
sorry.
I don't stare at the back of your head, so no.
Oh, okay.
But
that's true.
But yes, that's what I was going to ask you, is about trauma.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I thought of asking you.
Wait. So basically what you're saying is, if you have some type of trauma, emotional, not physical, it can leave a lasting sort of scar in your brain?
Absolutely.
I think she's saying
Makes
both.
Absolutely.
You want one, don't you, Cori? Cori,
I just need
you
to know
want
what
one.
I need to
love
know
that I
now.
got one. You want one. Everyone should want one.
I want one
This is
now.
amazing.
I do.
No, but listen, it's so accurate.
Yeah.
The reason that I'm losing my mind over this right now is because it's so damn accurate.
Oh.
This is
That's great.
Well,
no, I'm saying
here's the
it's
thing.
so accurate.
We need to have a part 2. And,
Yeah.
And the part 2 will be Corey will go, I'll go, maybe
Yep.
hashtag Tim Pratt will go.
Yeah.
Like we'll get more people to go. I mean,
Yeah.
sorry, Pete, you're in LA. Maybe
And he's also probably normal or
Yeah,
whatever.
but is this a countrywide thing, or is this only with you?
Their offices are all in.
Can he find someone in LA to get this done? Over
Yeah,
there?
yeah, absolutely.
And you can just
I mean,
interpret the results, type of thing.
Yeah, they, well,
you
they
can
would
only
do it.
go to Jamron.
Well, I mean, okay, but no,
That's
seriously,
it.
there's not that many people in
There
New York
aren't.
City, in the New York City
Yeah.
area that offer this sort of specialized service because it is at the moment, it's still being, there's a lot of data to support its efficacy. But it is so new because of the technology that's especially that's coming into practice. So, and it's an investment. It's an investment, not just with money, but for the person, because the person has to be trained, and they need to be trained really well because you're doing a lot of interpretation, a lot of theorizing with numbers. So you have to know a lot, like brain structures. You have to know neuroanatomy. You have to be familiar with the amplifier you're using. You have to understand the brain waves, and you have to be able to match that up with brain function. So there's a lot to do with this. So I would say maybe, again, if you Google neurofeedback, biofeedback, New York City, there's, I don't know, there maybe 10 listings. And it's New York City.
Crazy.
You would
Yeah,
expect to see more.
sure.
So there's
Crazy.
not really. So, but yeah, that's kind of where we fit in with the whole field.
Amazing.
Very cool.
Heat.
Okay, so you mentioned some of that stuff. In regards to that, CTE, right? Do you think that this could, because you mentioned about trauma and being able to kind of see some of that stuff, could that like help? Because you can only find out about CTE after death, right?
This is
He's saying
well, yeah. I'm gonna try to mix in with Pete's question because I literally had a question that I think is almost the same as Pete's. Can this what you do? Can this start to develop into something that we can use in the NFL, where they're always worried about CTE and football and stuff like that? Like to where maybe we can start.
Oh,
we can
really?
start using that
yeah.
as a scan to, instead of like seeing the results of CTE after the fact. This can be more of a, we can say like, hey, you're getting some damage to your head. You should not be.
You know
playing
that
much
we've
longer,
had
type of thing.
NFL players on this show, right?
Well,
Like,
I mean,
I'm just saying, let's get the
Really?
NFL together with the.
Yeah,
I mean, so yes, certainly the go-to there though is an fMRI. But then in terms of the actual cognition and emotional and the behavior aspect, yes, this absolutely can show some show the effects of that, whatever the fMRI shows. It's also good to do something like this as a baseline before they enter or before they start actually playing, because then at least at the end you can take. I mean, certainly over someone's lifespan the information changes, but at least to have some sort of baseline so that after when they're done with their career or whatever it is, that you can do it again and see if there are some significant changes.
So, quick question. So, when we talked about trauma, so I'm kind of seeing so it's not physical trauma, it's emotional trauma.
Both.
Yeah, it
Oh,
can
it's
be both.
both.
That's
It
what
can
she
be
was-
both.
That's why.
Oh.
Like Pete, I hope that I helped with the interpreting your question, because I kind of mixed it with my question.
Okay.
But it sounds to me
No,
like,
now I get it.
yeah, like you can. It doesn't matter. It's trauma in general. Like it can
Right.
be physical.
So,
it can
which
be
one is
mental.
mine? Both.
Well, I can't confirm the. You should have an fMRI done on your noggin to confirm if it's physical damage. But
see, I'm doing just fine. Like going through life like this.
No, people can be
So-
resilient, and our brains are amazing. So
Yeah.
it seems like you're powering through your internal experience. However,
Is horrible.
Okay,
It's
you
really
can
it's
say
tough.
that, but I can kind of.
Yeah, you can see it.
I can
You
see
can
it,
see
but
it
you
on the
can say-
paper.
You can't lie.
I'm not
You
having
can't-
fun, guys. I'm not having fun in this life. That's
You're
what that
having
proves.
fun right
Oh,
now.
No, right now,
No.
yeah.
We were hanging
Yeah,
out
right-
tonight.
like
We were
right
hanging
now,
out.
but-
We're having fun.
Yeah.
No.
Overall, no.
Wow.
This is going to turn really, really bleak. Okay, well,
I love
we'll
you
talk.
guys.
We'll talk.
Yes, and we'll talk.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
I know these are serious things too.
No,
you know?
of course.
It's
but
a serious issue.
I cannot tell you how much I love that we did this.
Can I
what
tell
a
you
great,
ahead of time?
Oh, this is awesome.
I am terrified of my results. I'm
it's
super
liberating.
intrigued
It's
because
good.
I want to hear all about how crazy I am physically, like mentally.
I mean, if your hair is any indication.
Exactly.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
I've had my moments too. Don't worry about it.
I don't even know if you have a cap that's gonna fit over my
You're
hair.
gonna have to like smash it down.
Yeah, you're gonna be mashing. I have so many stories in high school. I had to gel my hair because I had to go to Catholic school.
You can't
it was
wear
real
gel.
Bad.
No, you
Because
can't.
I basically
real
shaved
bad.
my head
Yeah.
for this, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not doing
Yeah,
that.
you did.
I'm 110% not shaving my head for this
No.
experiment.
We'll work around that. We'll
Yeah.
work around it.
Anyway,
You're our buddy now.
All right.
You'll be around.
so we're gonna come back. We're gonna wrap everything up. We do have one story that we have to get to for #gamertags. But like I said, we don't have that much time. We're gonna get back. We'll do that. You're gonna stay,
Sure. Yes, I will stay.
and we're gonna get you to weigh in on this video game story.
Okay.
All right, guys.
We'll see where it goes.
We're gonna come back. We're gonna tie everything up in a nice, neat bun. Stay tuned. We're popping off after this.
Unfortunately, it's an injury and an IR to Rex Burkhead. I think that clears the way for much increased opportunity for Sony Michel. I think this has just changed from a committee to a timeshare where Sony Michel is like the early down back and James White as the pass catching back.
Remembering guys like Lawrence Maroney, opportunity doesn't always lead to production, but I don't think Michel's going to turn out to be a Maroney.
I hope not, or a Jabroni even.
Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on FNTSY Radio and on your popular podcast providers. It's Poppin' Off.
Let's bring Ethan back.
Sure.
Tease.
That was a weird, intro and leave! Man, that was a real big tease. Hi, Ethan. This is the first time meeting you. I'm so glad to be a part of the Beanie Gang. I'm glad we got to share this moment.
Yeah.
It's in the Skype game too.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Hey, Ethan, just so you know, don't hit your wagon, Pete. He'll forget you.
He's on my time zone. I won't forget him.
Don't hit your wagon to Pete because he will lose Tim to dysentery when you cross the river.
Watch live on the FNTSY YouTube stream.
What's the most important thing you can do today? How about swab to save a life? Every 3 minutes in the United States, a person is diagnosed with a blood cancer like leukemia. Bone marrow transplants give patients a new lease on life, but 70% of them must rely on a stranger for one. You can help. Register with DKMS to become a donor. You'll receive a swab kit in the mail, swab your cheeks, send the samples back, and you're good to go. Take the first step. Become a hero. Register today at dkms.org.
Welcome back into Poppin' Off. I am Danny Otto. Joining with me as always is #Koi Bear.
Hello.
Fitch says Greg.
This brain mapping thing works.
All the way in LA, it's our best friend Pete, and I believe he's got a question he wants to ask really quick. Go for it, Pete.
Greg, now on an honest question though, is
Yeah,
this
buddy.
something though after hearing her and talking to Stephanie and everything, is this something that you would recommend again for people moving forward with if they wanted to do this for their own mind's sake?
Yeah, look, I mean, great question, dude. Like, I was in a really, really bad place, a number of years ago, and I started actively seeking out therapy, which is one of the best things that I ever did. It literally saved my life. Shout out to Michael Bibbs. Seriously, that's my therapist. He's badass. I love that man. He's an amazing therapist, and he saved my life. Like, that's a true story. I mean, I was just in a horrible place. I remember like being in that waiting room, writing on the thing, and then I've gone in and see him, and I've known him for so long since, and it's changed my life. And this, I recommend not only talk therapy, but now that Stephanie comes in here and tells me exactly what I already knew was going on with me, like we didn't talk at all,
No.
Steph and I. Like I had no clue what she was going to say. I knew what I thought was going on with me, and vice versa. And she came in and said that it's right on. It's spot on. So that's all.
Amazing.
All right. Yeah. So I don't want to take away from that. I don't want to take away from you. But there is a story that we have to talk about.
Yes.
For #gamertags, and we really don't have a lot of time left.
No.
We got to talk about this. This is way too important to not talk about. Not that Greg's brain isn't important, because Greg's brain is very important. We want to make sure you're healthy for the show and to be here.
I'm going to be fine.
Good.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. But this story came out last week. It came out around Thursday afternoon, evening, but I think we just forgot to mention it on Thursday's show. But anyway, so Bungie and Activision have officially split.
Oh, yeah.
And Bungie now retains all of the rights for Destiny, which means anything moving forward with Destiny is all Bungie creation, which is what Halo 1 through Reach was.
Yep.
So we didn't have any paid download stuff, no microtransactions, no stuff like that. So I'm kind of interested, like, what does this mean moving forward for any expansions for Destiny 2? I guess maybe they're all solved, but anything for Destiny 3, basically. Are we going to get a full game with no expansion packs, or is that just kind of the day and age that we live in now? It's just going to be no matter what, whether it's Activision or not, we're just going to get expansion packs and stuff like that. And we don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to make sure that we talked about this really quick.
Well, I think that we need to worry about the now, because microtransactions was Activision's decision.
Right.
So now when they reset Destiny, you're looking at the people who paid $10 for the mic drop emote during Halloween.
Yeah.
Are they losing that? Are they going to lose all the things that they got in their loot boxes? This is going to be a huge lawsuit and a loss on somebody's end, because people paid money for things that they might lose.
Yep.
Do you think they're going to lose it because Bungie retains everything from Destiny?
Right, but Bungie did not believe in the microtransactions.
No, I get that.
And then they're going to have to get rid of certain aspects of, like if you are paying microtransactions right now for Destiny 2, you need to stop. Because there is a possibility that you are not going to be able to keep these items.
Yeah,
Good advice.
I didn't pay microtransactions, but I did buy all of the expansions.
Well, let's also be real about Forsaken was nothing less than a failure. So
I liked Forsaken.
Well, I'm talking facts, not feelings. It did not meet any sales goals. It was a failure. So where is the future of Destiny now when
I am hopeful. I want to see Destiny 3 as a full game.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see that. And no microtransactions and a game, like an actual full video game that we can
pull it out like
an
actual like
I'm
really
okay with
long...
like certain content drops. Like
right,
that's fine. I will pay for a DLC because it does expand the game, but only if it expands the game.
Right.
What do you think?
I don't know.
That's it?
No, I mean...
Pete, then, what do you think about this?
I agree with Cori.
Yeah. So, Stephanie, during something like
Oh, there it goes.
That's it. Mute Pete.
No, let him know. Let him ask. Let him ask.
Just wait. No,
I want to know what
Let
your
him ask.
view on gamers.
So if they had stuff on their heads while they're having that like conversation, would that set off triggers?
True.
Well, Cori said
so
sets off tons of triggers.
I guess I'm not understanding the question. Like,
neither am I.
If I say something to trigger Cori on purpose, and we're both wearing the brain mapping stuff, mind maps.
No.
Brain mapping.
It's a brain mapping.
Somebody said something in my ear.
Fine.
Like,
it's fine. Brain mapping.
But I know certain things to say to Cori that I could get punched for.
It was not punched. That's just literally something that I'm interested in. It's a
No,
pleasure.
no.
The pleasure point in my brain or video game.
Punching Danny.
No. Yeah, pleasure point is punching Danny. Yeah. No, I was gonna say like if I say Duke sucks while you're wearing the brain mapping stuff. Is that gonna
know
trigger
it was a lie
something?
because they don't. They just. I mean, they lost the game, but
yeah, I could see something happening.
Really?
Yeah, depending on, well, I mean, it wouldn't, yeah, I could. It depends on the software that I'm using and the view that I have and where the electrodes are placed. But let's just say you're having these kind of conversation. I may see a spike or an increase in magnitude, for example, in certain component bands as it's happening and be like, oh, and that's when, this was said to that person or whatever, and that really, So I could see that you had some sort of visceral response.
So if you showed her, like, while you're doing it, in the context, like, in the office and everything, like, we're not there. But if you showed her, like, pictures of me and Greg and Pete to try to trigger...
Yeah, that's a certain... It's called...
Well, you had me close my eyes and open my eyes. So that was part of it.
Yeah, that
so
was
like
a part
if
of
you're
it.
looking at a picture, would that...
Yeah, that's commonly done in research. It's called like ERP, event-related potentials, where you're looking when you present some sort of stimulus to the person, and then you're looking for their response in the EEG. Yeah,
this could be used in like court.
It is sometimes.
Really?
Very interesting. All right, well, we're out of time, but we wanted to give you an opportunity to give any shout-outs to definitely the company, definitely your boss, because he was in our chat, so you gotta give a shout out to the boss.
Yes.
But this is your time. We only have a minute left, but we want to make sure that you had some time to give any shout outs you wanted.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. I just certainly shout out to Colin Jamron of Jamron Counseling.
Yeah.
There's the whole reason why I'm here, and the whole reason why we can even offer this sort of service. So, kudos to him.
Yep.
And I just want to say, in terms of like the neurofeedback training, which is what would happen next after a brain map, I want to just say that it is a really viable option for people who don't want to take medication, and that it's cuts treatment or length of treatment time compared to psychotherapy, for example. It cuts it significantly, and there is a lot of data to prove its efficacy, and that it does result in some long-lasting behavior changes.
I suppose because you don't have to get to what is really wrong with the patient.
No, you
already know.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know exactly where to start.
Yep.
You have the roadmap.
Yeah.
Well,
it's dope.
I guess all we can say now is thank you so much for coming in.
Sure. Yeah.
It was
an
an absolute pleasure, and we do have to have a part 2.
Yes.
Because Cori wants to come in. I want to come in.
This will be a whole brain map party.
Maybe hashtag Jim Pratt.
Like the
maybe
Tupperware parties that they used to have, except with the brain map. Sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, absolutely. But thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you in. This was great. This was so much. It was so much fun.
It was so much fun.
Just diving into it. I mean, I feel like we only scratched the surface. And,
We did.
And this was a lot of fun. It was really cool. It was really interesting. We were all sitting here. We all had like a bunch of questions. So definitely we'll get you in again. We'll definitely come and visit you if we want to do this.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Up for it. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thanks,
You're
Steph.
awesome. Everyone's awesome here. Love it.
All right, guys. We are out of time. We will see you Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Good night, everybody.
Good night.